Okay. All right. We're recording, so that's good. All right. Well, thanks for being here tonight. For those of you on here that don't know me, or those who listen to the recording, my name is Chad Tucker. I'm Summer's husband, and the rookie has been put in charge of this tonight. So since Summer's not feeling well, but we have some amazing people on here. Erin, can you mute yourself for just a second?
Oh, sorry.
Jeez, jeez. And but we have some amazing people on here tonight that are going to share their story and kind of what these things called challenge groups really mean, and what it can have, what kind of impact it can have on you. So a lot of you might know Summer's story, but a lot of you probably do not know mine. But suffice it to say that both Summer and I, we didn't have this whole thing figured out when we first started. Okay, we grew up in houses that, TV dinners were pretty much common. I still remember the Salisbury steak, like mystery meat with the frozen mashed potatoes and the corn, and then my favorite thing was and the gravy, of course. And my favorite thing to do was to mix those things up. And those were the microwavable dinners. I don't know if you remember the Hungry Man type thing. Yeah, that's what I kind of grew up on, and. Summer's story is very similar, and I'll go into her story. But before we really start into that, I just, for everybody just new to this, and then everybody coming back in and really plugging back in, and then heck, for the people that have been here for a long time, we have to just love the process. Okay, we have to fall in love with the process and the process of change, and we have to trust this process. We have to trust the people that are about to talk tonight, because they have a lot of experience, like years of experience, and combined like tens of years of experience doing this thing. And they've really seen, and they've actually had the changes themselves, and they've really helped a ton of people do that. So I encourage you just to kind of breathe. Don't try to be perfect in this thing. Don't try to make no mistakes, and just kind of walk this thing without just being perfect. Because it's, number one, it's not going to happen. And two, if you go into that, Tony Robbins says, Summer used this the other day, that the person looking for perfection, that is like that is like a number one cop out. There she is, everybody. Are you going to sit here?
Can I?
Okay, I guess. Okay. You have like chocolate colors on your lips.
Oh, well, at least I'm drinking my shake.
That's right. Okay. What's going on? All right, so she threw me there, of course. There, there. Now we pinned the video. Okay, for the recording. But yes, trust the process. So Tony Robbins says that if you're trying to be perfect, that is the number one way to guarantee your failure, because that is like the easiest cop out. Okay, because you're not going to be perfect, so you've already given yourself an out. You know what I mean? So just go into this, loving the process, just love it, and then trust the process and trust the people that are going to speak tonight. But so part of Summer's story, I'm going to tell it even though she's here right now. She grew up, and I know this because I pretty much lived it, because I was 16 when we started dating, and we've been married for a long time, and I've seen her walk this walk. And she was a girl in high school that was very athletic, and was played like multiple sports, and but she was never like one that was extremely comfortable in her skin. She's never really happy. I remember that from a long time ago. Has always struggled with that image. She struggled with some things that were said to her with regards to like big boned, and she would, and it really that really affected her going forward. And I remember, she wouldn't like when I touched her side. She would kind of recoil, and I'd feel that. She would do I'd turn and look at her, and she's like holding her side, and she would call them chubby checks. And then, that kind of went forward. And when we went into the Marine Corps, and then she really did, I don't know if any of you have out here done this, but really went to the extremes, basically dropped the calories and worked out as hard as possible for as long as possible during the day. Pounded the pavement, did all these, group classes and all these things that really probably made the situation worse. She really came to a point where she's like, well, there's something wrong with me, so I'm going to fix me. And the way she's going to do that was become a personal trainer. So she became a personal trainer to understand the body, understand herself, and really really nothing really changed until she really dusted. There was this program called P90X. I don't know if anybody's heard of that before, but
the workouts are way too long.
That's right. And it was a box. It was collecting dust in our gym. And I deployed in October of 2010. And I can only say this, and she tells the story really well. I can only say this because I was 7,000 miles away, and I said, and we were struggling, and we were having those fun conversations you have on deployments, and I said, "Hun, well," and she was unhappy, and I said, "Well, I'm going to tell you what you tell all of your challengers and all your people that you work with is if you want something different, you need to do something different." And then I closed the computer.
Yeah, good job.
I'm kidding, but she sucked it up in that comment, and she didn't really throw anything at me at the time. Not that it really mattered.
No,
but,
I mean you were right.
Yeah.
It's insane to think, to keep trying to do the same thing and expecting a different result, and that's what I was doing, and I was working harder and not smarter.
Yep.
And so it was at that time that I hung up my running shoes and I stopped teaching group fitness, and I followed the recipe. You know what I mean? I was kind of stubborn at the time, and
still stubborn. She's had surgery 2.5 days ago, so she's sitting here.
I know, but I do love you. And I think I just I had hit that pain point where I looked at myself and said, if I keep doing this, if I keep doing this, what is life going to look like 5 years from now or 10 years from now? And the breaking point was when I was rocking our 10-month-old, and I started to cry because I felt like I was going to pass on these same insecurities to her,
mm-hmm.
that same generational curse, so to speak. And I needed to figure out a healthy way to navigate this, so that I could pass on, a healthy mindset to my kids. That was kind of my for sure job, that God had given me. And so my fight came from that place. So.
Yeah. And so fast forward 7-8 months from that time I deployed, I came home and Summer had plugged in to this program, and what I didn't really know at the time, what she had really plugged in is to the idea of a challenger group. And she had come back, I'd come back, and not only was she physically changed, physically in the best shape of her life. I'm sorry, Summer's muting people. But she was also, emotionally and mentally, and then also spiritually different. She had, she just walked with her shoulders back a little bit more. She kind of wore her clothes a little bit different, and not that she fit into them better. She just,
I did.
Yes, not only I meant that you
I
you
lost
really had
20 pounds.
Yeah, you really had it was just just a mindset difference. And when I touched her side, she didn't recoil anymore. And we had sex with the lights on, and I still remember
I really didn't expect you to talk about that topic. That sounds weird coming out of your mouth. Sounds better coming out of mine.
Okay, I'll stick to that. I still remember the makeout session in the kitchen.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, sorry, too far?
Too far.
I tend to jump over lines, but anyway, so yes, and it totally changed. And then what it really did for me, because yes, I was a Marine, but I hated to work out. I hated it. I think it might have been OCS or TBS or something like that. Just destroyed my love for.
No, it wasn't. No one destroyed it, Chad. You never liked to work out.
Come on,
I've known you forever.
People, right?
Tell the truth. Be vulnerable. It's okay. Let it all show, Chad.
You should be asleep right now.
No, I have to make sure you're telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Okay.
No.
So maybe I didn't like to run and work out and things like that.
Or eat healthy. I mean, you guys see what, and I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead. You thought you were going to get away with this, but.
Remember, she's taking a lot of pills, everybody, okay? She's only telling you half truth.
I look at a piece of pizza and I gain weight. I don't know if any of you guys can relate to that at all, but it's just a real struggle for me. Whereas Chad, I mean, he can eat whatever he wants and still have a 6-pack. You know what I mean?
No,
it's caught up with you, but back when we were in our 20s and stuff. And so, he would eat a whole sleeve of Oreos, and I was really trying to get to a place where I felt good in my skin. And that was a struggle of mine because of all the cravings I had and all the gaps I had in my nutrition and all of that kind of stuff. And so we really struggled at that time in our relationship because I was playing the victim, if I'll be honest. I was blaming a lot on you when really I needed to take control of my bus, my energy bus, and I needed to drive it where I wanted to drive it. And once I took ownership of my journey, and that's when everything changed, and I decided who I was going to surround myself by. And that's why the challenge groups, that's why, I guess I'm moving in. That's why the challenge groups were so beneficial to me, because for so long, because of my personality, and I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, but my personality is, I got this. Like, I don't want to be a burden to anybody. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to do anything for me. I don't want it. That's all ego for me. But I wanted to do everything myself. And when Chad deployed, let's make sure we got everything muted, you guys. I can't tell where it's coming from. Hold on. I don't know. There's somebody's unmuted right now. But when I decided that only I could make changes and that I had to decide who I was going to surround myself by, and I didn't have to do it by myself, that's when everything changed for me. Chad, do you want to take back over? Yeah. I just got dizzy. I'm out. Okay.
Oh, never a dull moment at Tucker House, to let you know. Yeah, but so Summer came home. So and really what happened for me with regards to, we struggled. Summer, she had to pull me out of bed to work out. And we had a lot of fights about it. But over time, I saw the support and accountability of the groups and really how it changed her mindset on it. I started plugging into what she was doing, and then it slowly over time changed my mindset on how I thought about working out and how I thought about daily life with that. So it has been a life-changing thing, these challenge groups. So I'm going to stop talking here. I'm going to send it over to these lovely ladies and have them share their experience with you. One thing I'd like to leave with you before I shut my mouth here is get surrounded by these groups and stay surrounded. All right. If it was a knowledge thing with regards to losing weight or getting fit or feeling physically different, then we'd all have six packs, because you can Google anything these days. Okay. There's so much information out there. It doesn't matter. What is the missing piece? Okay. And there's programs and there's fitness and things like that. Do we have some of the best? Yes, I think we do. But there is the missing piece, which is that accountability support piece that really, yeah, exactly, Liz, that this thing provides. Okay. I hope I'm not stealing anybody's thunder, but and then number two is just, push play, drink your shake, and just do it. And just do it every day. You don't have to be perfect at it. Maybe you don't finish that day's workout. That's okay. Maybe you miss a day. That's okay. Just push play and go. Okay. All right. After that, I'm just going to shut up like I'm for real here. Sorry. Okay. Erin, can you start talking? Because I don't want to talk anymore.
I certainly can. I'm always happy to cut off Chad Tucker.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I am super excited to be here tonight. I'm Erin Booker, and this team and these challenge groups have saved my life, legitimately saved my life. And I can say that with complete confidence that it is a 100% honest statement of not just got me healthier. They certainly have. I've lost over 100 pounds since my first challenge group. But they've healed me from the inside out, which I think is so amazing. And so I really want to encourage everyone that this challenge group, these shakes, these workouts, they're a piece of a much bigger puzzle of finding your true happiness and your true joy and being truly healthy in every aspect. And I think that's such an amazing thing, and it makes me really excited. So, I started my first challenge group about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, was when I first did that. And it was the scariest decision I've ever made. I remember Summer being like, just join this group. And it was a get through the holiday season. That's when I started. It was get through Christmas and don't gain 20 pounds. And it scared me because I was in this group and I felt like everyone was going to judge me because I was over 300 pounds and I was completely uncomfortable in my skin. I couldn't work out the way everyone else was working out. Exercise scared me beyond belief because I felt like I always was a failure at it. And so the whole idea of the challenge group freaked me out. And what I found was, instead of people who were judgmental, I found this amazing community of women who just adored me and loved me and held me up when I wanted to crawl into a hole and cry because I had had a bad day. And there was no like persecution because I ate a cookie. No one expected me to be perfect except for Erin. And so I really want to reiterate, Chad said he didn't want to steal thunder. He totally stole mine. Progress, not perfection. If you hear nothing else that I say today, is please remember that you are working towards progress, not perfection. I will caveat that with that you actually have to have some progress. Sometimes we get stuck in well, I'm not supposed to be perfect. It's okay. And I've used that as an excuse, actually. So we want to make sure we're moving in the right direction, but every day is not going to be perfect. You're going to modify workouts. You're going to make it halfway through the workout and your body's going to say, okay, nope, I'm done with that today. And that's okay. But that's a workout that you wouldn't have even attempted. So celebrate that. That's so huge. And so for me, that has been a big part of this process in challenge groups, is celebrating every victory that I have, no matter how tiny I think they are. So some of us on our team, probably many, many, many of us, keep sprout journals. And literally every night before I go to bed, I write down 5 things that I'm really grateful for or that I'm really proud of from that day. I do something a little bit different than I think most people. I also write down a couple things that I want to work on doing a better job at the next day. And in the morning, I start my day writing down what my goals are for that day. So those are what I call my bookends of my day. I start my day kind of asking for support and taking a moment to kind of quiet my head and make some goals for the day. And I go to bed seeing what I'm really proud of and what I can work a little harder on and saying thank you. And those are my bookends of the day. And I started that in challenge groups because we started talking about what we were grateful for. And I had forgotten to focus on that in this journey. So, I got really focused on the scale. My husband has hid the scale. So if you ask me what I weigh, I have no idea because I'm not allowed to get on it. Because that ruins my progress, not perfection. So I just want to, that's really like, I have a total weight loss of over 300 pounds. I have lost 100 plus pounds with challenge groups. And every single day I celebrate being a happier, healthier version of, and there I be. Thanks, Chad. So that's me. Oh, God in heaven. I sent those to you, so I totally knew they were coming, and I still wasn't ready. So this one is really it's the highest weight I allowed pictures, and that was in the 400s. I ended up over 500 pounds at my highest weight. And then that second picture of the side-by-sides that was my first challenge group ever with Summer. So those were my before pictures from my first challenge group. And I look at those regularly when I start to feel like I'm not progressing. I remind myself where I actually came from. So that would be the other small thing I would say. Even if you're afraid of those pictures, please take them. They're so important. They're way more important than a picture or than a number on a scale, because your body's going to change more drastically than you realize. I didn't realize how drastically my body had changed. So make sure you're doing that. But my God, you guys, please just celebrate every moment. Remember that you are going to be consistent with this and it's going to work. This is proven. I'm living proof that it works. I'm a better mom. I'm a better wife. I'm a better friend. I'm so much happier. I literally broke free from a prison. And all of you can do that in these groups. That's all I got.
That's awesome. And what she said there at the end about the before and after pictures, it's drastic actually. And when people don't see or don't think they have had a change, when we're able to show those, and it only works if you take the before, then it really, I think what we were watching yesterday, This Is Us, and that show, and then the girl that was trying to lose weight, she had a great week and she felt really good. And yeah, his name's Kate. That's right. She had a great week and felt really good. Anybody seen This Is Us? It's an emotional mess for me. I tried not to watch it, but and she got into this. She was in this club and they went into to do the check-in for the weight, and she stepped on a scale and she dropped a pound, and she had spent like £1.25. That's right. And it totally ruined her. It totally destroyed her that day, because that she was feeling good, and she was, but that sometimes the scale just doesn't show it. So that's really powerful. Thanks, Erin. Cool. Christy, how about you, girl?
Hey, everybody. So yeah, Erin, thank you. That was inspiring. My name is Christy Vincent, and I got involved it's almost 3.5 years ago now. And I was just thinking about today, I've been at my goal weight for almost 3 years. So I think that is another testament to this system, that it works and it's something that will stick with you forever. It's not something that's going to fix and then come right back. But to back up my story a little bit, I have never had a problem with exercise. I love to exercise. I love to work out. I was the girl in high school that cheered and danced and had something every single day of the week, and was always super active. But similar to Chad and Summer talking about, we ate horribly. It was almost a status symbol in my family to go out to eat all the time and go through McDonald's and Wendy's. And I remember very young sneaking into the pantry and getting Debbie snacks out of the cabinet to make myself feel better. And just, so nutrition, I just had no idea. And all through high school, as far back as I can remember, I was always the biggest girl on the cheerleading team or the biggest girl on the dance team. And they'd have to search to the bottom of the bin to find a skirt that would fit me. And those kind of things stick with you long term. And as you become adult and a mom, they're kind of hitting back there. And so I've always been very good at smiling and pretending I was happy. And then it came to this point. I had a couple friends that Summer went to high school where I went, and they knew her and they had got involved in the system and lost weight. And I didn't need that. I didn't need the shakes. I didn't need the accountability. I would do it on my own. And after really honestly trying for a year, using other sort of apps to track your food and things like that, I hadn't lost a single pound. And I have tried so hard. And so I got to that point. And if you're there, and so that's why you said yes to these groups, know that there's hope. And I said, fine, I'll try it. I'm just going to follow whatever this plan says and give it a go. And so for me, it was really simple. And so if you're getting started, I would recommend doing it this way too. I just drank the shake. My first 10 days, I didn't change everything. I didn't cut everything out. I drank my shake, and I started to look at the meal plans and look at the posts that were in the group. And I started to read them, but I didn't respond right away. I wasn't ready for that. I couldn't dig in 100%, but I drank my shakes and I posted what I had done that day. And those first 10 days, I lost 7 pounds. And I was like, okay, like now I don't care how much this costs or what is, I'm in. Like, this works and it's simple, and I'm not wanting to cry for the first time when I walk in to get changed and into my closet, and I just don't feel hopeless. So then I started to look at the meal plans more, and again, just plug into the groups a little bit more. Started tweaking, what I was eating. The meal plans that are given to you in your challenge group are amazing. They're simple. They're done by moms and busy people. And at first, you don't have to cut out all the cheese. You don't have to cut out, peanut butter. You can still have these things, but it's put together in a way that works. And I just actually exercise less. So my other advice is to look at the calendar for the program that you chose originally and follow it. And don't think that you also need to go running or you also need to do all these things. Just follow, trust in the plan, check it off the list. If you miss a workout, just bump it to the next day, and maybe 21-day fix takes you 30 days. But it's okay, but do it in order. And then as that gets easier, then you can add the containers in, and then you can add, that's what's so cool about this system is as you grow, you can find a new challenge for yourself, either physically or nutritionally. I think that's a word. I don't know. But whatever is what you need. For me, like I said, exercise comes easy and naturally, and I thrive on it. So I find challenges. I did Whole30 a couple months ago, and I remember when I first heard about that, I thought people were crazy a year ago, and now it's something I can do. So that's what's really cool about these groups too, is there's going to be someone in your group that's 2 steps ahead of you and someone that's 2 steps behind you. So you get the opportunity to encourage someone that's coming behind you, and you also get to kind of see what is ahead and what you can push for and where you're going to be, and look at people like myself in here. I pulled up a picture, if I can share with you guys. So this is one of my before and afters that, lost the weight they wanted, and all. I lost 40 pounds. Went from a size 12, 14 to I've been a size 4 for 2.5 years now. And this is my son, Ethan, that's 5. And this was that moment when I finally said, yes, I'll listen to somebody. I'm going to share. And this was 2 summers ago, I think, at Kings Island. So, the system works. Just pick one piece and focus on that. And then add another piece and add another piece. And the whole time know that you have people here that love you and support you. And there's someone that has a story like you. So,
you know what I love that you said, Christy, and I think like our society kind of programs us to think it's all or nothing. That's kind of how I was leading up until about 7 years ago when I finally made the change. Like I thought it was like an all or nothing. And so it left me in this vicious cycle of like snapping on, Friday night, starting over again on Monday, feeling just this feeling of like a failure. What's wrong with me? Whereas if you heard Christy say she just changed one thing at a time, she's just like, okay, I'm going to push play and I'm going to drink my shake and I'm not going to change a whole lot of other things. You know what I mean? And she's going to do that for 10 days. And then she made another small tweak. And when you have a long-term vision like that, I think it makes all the difference, because it's not like I say to a lot of my challengers, it's going to blow some of your guys' minds, but I say, give me a year. And some people are like, wait, how long do you want me to give you? Like, yeah, like I want you to give me a year to change from the inside out, because we see all these advertisements, and even the 21-day fix and all these kind of things. And really, if we could stay surrounded by each other for a year and make small changes over a year, that's how you keep it off, like Erin has, like Christy has, like Liz has, so that you're not yo-yoing back and forth. It's that deprivation, that and depriving ourselves, and that creates that vicious cycle that if we go like, look, I'm going to give this all I got for the next 3 months. I'm going to make small changes versus, okay, I'm going to give it 30 days. That's kind of like the microwave mentality, where I'm going to ask you guys to give it more of a crock pot mentality. I mean, think about it. Chad was talking about the Hungry Man microwave meals that you put in. Any of you guys ever taste that crap? It's horrible. There's nothing good about it. It doesn't taste real. It's fake, versus a crock pot meal that's been like sitting in there all day, you know what I mean? And just been simmering, and it's just that awesomeness that comes out of it. That's what you want your journey to feel like. You don't want it to be fake. You don't want it to be short-lived. You don't want it to upset your stomach like the Hungry Man does, but you want this really amazing experience. And so when you think long-term and you allow yourself to make small changes and you throw the scale out and you stop letting the scale define you, is when you really, really change from the inside out, and everybody will start to notice it around you. There'll be this peace about you and this confidence that you can't even put a price tag on that will develop. And I think Liz can probably share a little bit on that. That's something that I saw change in Liz drastically. Liz, are you still on here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. Yeah. Do you want me to share my story?
Do.
Okay. So Summer just mentioned vision, and I think that's kind of a funny word sometimes when you were talking about health and fitness, but my story or my journey started when my second was 6 months old, and I had gained 60 pounds with him. And I was still wearing my maternity yoga pants, and I wouldn't be in any pictures, and I was pretty much hating life. And I went to the park for the first time with Owen, my oldest, who's 4 years older than my baby was. And it was like the first time I'd escaped with just him, and he wanted to play soccer. And I was so excited to be there with him. And I knew it wasn't going to be pretty, but I was going to try. And I had to sit down after 5 minutes. I couldn't do it. And the look, I still cry when I think about this, but the look of disappointment on his face, it was like, I couldn't, and I don't know that I would have at the time called it a vision. I don't think I had the language to say that or make that the concept, but it was like, all of a sudden I just knew it was like, that's not the mom I want to be. This isn't how this is supposed to go. Like, I want to be able to do this with him, and I want to hike with James. And like, we were living in Hawaii at the time, and I was like, I want to go surfing with Owen. Like, I want to be the one to like put him on a surfboard and paddle him out. And I want to be strong enough to do that because this is like memory making time, and I'm not missing out. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't know it at the time, but it really was like this vision that just like washed over me. And I remember I called Summer and I was like, I don't care what I have to do. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Like, and it was like Christy said, it was like, just give me instructions and I don't care. I'll do it. And what was really powerful for me was when I plugged into the challenge groups, it was like the combination of having that vision that I was so locked into and knowing what I wanted. You know, I wasn't picturing in my head a six-pack and a bikini. I wasn't picturing like, you know, sexy black dress. Like, none of that was really in play at all. It was really just, I wanted to have sex with my husband without, you know, feeling completely insecure. I wanted to throw my kids around and piggyback rides and all this stuff. Like, that was what was going through my head every single day. And I just followed the recipe, and it was like, you know, like Erin and Christy have shared, like, you know, there were off days, there were, you know, I didn't completely cut out everything. You know, I had my glasses of wine on Friday night, and then I waited till the next Friday for them, and I looked forward to them that whole 6 days. And, you know, and but I didn't cut it out entirely. It was like, I'm not giving this up. And Summer knows, if you tell me that I have to live in a world without pizza, I might punch you. So like, it just wasn't like, and you know, there's just certain things I wasn't giving up, but I knew that if I made small changes across the board, spread out over time, then it would add up. And I just, you know, I don't know how your all's support systems are at home. And my husband was supportive from day one, I should say. Like, he's been around Summer and Chad as long as I have, and he kind of knows how this works, and he's amazing. So he's on board, but it was my thing. It wasn't our thing or his thing, or it was just kind of my thing. And so he would still bring home McDonald's and eat it with the kids in front of me. And at that point, I was so just focused on me that I was like, I couldn't also try to make everybody else do it too. You know, I was like, okay, I have to be strong enough to make myself do it, and then we can talk about everybody else. And so eventually, like, but I remember in those moments, like those days when, you know, he'd be drinking beer and it was not a day that I could have beer, like, I could really quickly check into the group and I would see all these people like still working and still trying and still getting up and pressing play. And these moms had like 4 kids and a deployed husband and a 40-hour-a-week job. And they were still getting up at 4:30 in the morning and doing their workout. And I was like, oh my God, if they can do it, I have no excuse. Like, I can do this, you know? And it just was nice to not feel alone. And, you know, he did end up getting on board. And that's the other thing, you know, you guys, like, there's a trickle out effect with all of this. Like, people will see what you're doing and they'll feel what you're doing and how good you feel. And I mean, Addison eventually gave up soda entirely, lost 22 pounds, did T25. He has been drinking Shakeology every day for 2.5 years. Like, so it took about 5 months. And I did end up losing about 45 pounds in 5.5 months. Hang on, I'll share my, here it is. Can you guys see that? So, I mean, when I look at these photos, it's kind of surreal, to be honest. Like, that girl on the right is not at all what I thought was possible, I guess. Like, I really wasn't. I had no idea. You know, I played college hockey. Like, I had been an athlete my whole life, and I assure you that even in preseason with like 3 2-hour practices a day, never ever did I look like that. And it was like I had muscle in places I'd never seen. Like, and I felt good. Like Summer said, like, it wasn't deprivation. It wasn't all these sacrifices that made my life miserable. It was this balanced way of living. And I just had to stay focused on the vision of what I wanted to be able to do in my life. And then everything else kind of fell into place. So, and Summer always laughs because one of the things that I did, in the beginning, and you guys are lucky because you don't have to do this. You have how do I unshare it? Oh, stop share. Got it. Okay, sorry. Sorry. Like, we didn't have the 21-day fit tracker app at the time when I started. So I had a notepad that went everywhere with me, and then I had one that was right next to my fridge. And my fridge was like, had an island, and my fridge and my pantry were right behind it. And it was like, I would literally write down every single thing I put in my mouth, which sounds awful, but I did it for about 3 months. And it was like such a lesson in like mindfulness and intentionality. Like, I knew what I was doing. And when I would find myself standing there with the pantry door open, I would turn around and look at that list, and I'd be like, no, you're not really hungry. You have plenty to eat today. You know, and it was like, drink a glass of water and walk away, you know, and go check into your challenge group because it's powerful in there. So anyway, I don't know if that helps any of you guys, but you will make friends in these groups that are just unbelievable. And some of my best friends are still from my first challenge group. And I mean, it's just, it's incredible to have that support. So the more you engage, the more you'll feel it. And I just encourage you to do that as much as you can, because it really supports everything.
Well, I mean, that's how you met Jessica Williams, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, and as you guys have walked some tough times and Jessica lost her mom and stuff, I mean, you've been there to walk that with her and stuff. It's so much bigger than a number on the scale. Mm-hmm. You guys, like you've heard everybody, I mean, you really can't put a price tag on a lot of these things that everybody's talking about, but I want you to realize that this is your journey, and it comes from a place that is important to you, and you have to find that place. Like, you have to, what I encourage you between now and Monday is finding a time where you can just sit quiet and write. Just let yourself start writing as to why this is your time, like why this is worth fighting for. You know, what does this mean to you? If you keep doing what you're doing, where will you be in 5 years or 10 years in your marriage or with your kids or in your own, you know, in your own mindset, you know? And when you allow yourself to go to that place, that's where true change starts to happen. That's where the motivation actually starts to come from. And then I want you to flip it, and I want you to write what excites you about this group. You know, what excites you about the possibilities? What did you hear tonight that excited you? What connected to you? What's a small little nugget that you heard from someone that you could also put into action? You know, is it writing down everything you eat like Liz did? I mean, that I did that. You know what I mean? That was huge for me. And I feel like Christy might have done that before, you know, because I'm the type of person that when Chad was deployed, I would eat at night after I got all the kids to sleep, because it was like almost like my reward. I'm not really sure. Or I'd have a glass of wine, or I'd eat Oreos or something like that. Or both, you know, and I would write, and keeping myself mindful of my emotions was, you know, really big piece of that. So take something and put it into action. But know that you have to keep your why in front of you, and there is no wrong why. You know, as long as it's important to you, that's all that matters, you know. And then I want you guys to kind of plan for Monday. You know, I want you to get your schedule out. Whoa, where are we going?
I'm not sure what just happened here.
Hit that stop share, maybe. Someone else might be sharing. I'm not sure. Sharon Crowley's sharing. Anyway, I want you guys to kind of look at your schedule and look at when you think your workouts will be
Sharon, can you hit
Hold on a second.
hit the stop share button? There, thank you very much.
There we go. A big piece, I mean, for me, when I was working on changing my life, so to speak, is I had to take control of my calendar. And I don't know, Liz and Christy, I'm sure Erin can relate to this, but you sit down and you kind of look at what you have in regards to, you know, work commitments or your husband's work commitments, or maybe kids soccer or something, and you have to plan in advance when your workouts are going to happen. See, it doesn't just happen by chance, you know, and if you wait until the end of the day, generally you're just too exhausted. But when I looked at my day, I realized that my workouts had to happen in the morning, because at night we had soccer practice or gymnastics or whatnot. And so you have to take that time on Friday or Sunday to look and schedule those things in and be intentional with your time. No one else can do that for you. And once I opened, I told you guys, like, I played the victim a lot. I blamed, if only Chad would get out of bed with me. If only I had someone that would show up with me and work out in my garage with me. If only someone would meet me at the Y. If only this, if only that. But when I finally, if you want something different, you have to do something different. The word "you" popped out, like you meaning Summer had to do something different. It started with taking control and ownership of my calendar and making sure I made time for me. I'm going to leave you guys with this and anything the other three want to say, but there's a reason why when on an airplane, when there's an emergency and all the masks drop, that they tell you to put yours on first. See, in our society, we are programmed to put everybody else's oxygen mask on first and ours later. And the problem is we're all running out of oxygen. We're all running out of energy. We're exhausted. And when you're exhausted and running out of energy, you can't take care of anyone. And we have to get back to that place where we're guilt-free. We take time to care for ourselves so we have the energy to play soccer with our kids like Liz, wanted to, so that we have the energy to keep up with our kids, so that we have the energy at night to have sex with our husband to keep that flame going. Do you guys see what I'm saying? You have to put your oxygen mask on first. In our society, unfortunately, we are programmed to think that that's selfish, right? Especially as moms, and we almost start to play the martyr. Right? But it's time that we kind of hang up that, because that's not working. And we all decided if we keep trying to do something over, that's insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, hoping to get a different result. So it's time to hit the but now button, right? To do something different, to push the I believe button. It's worked for Christy. It's worked for Liz. It's worked for Erin Booker. It's worked for me. It's worked for Sherry Beasley, Jen Yoder. I mean, there's so many examples, but it's your turn. Nothing happens by chance. You're here for a reason. Now, the only question is, are you going to step into it? Are you going to stay close to us? Because we can't read your mind, and we can't chase you down. We can't pull you. But if you meet us in the middle, we can link arms with you, and then there's no stopping us. When we are linked arms, when there is a group of people headed in a positive direction that have linked arms for the greater good, there is no stopping us. But you have to stay linked with us. That is the biggest tip I can give you guys, is don't leave us. Through the ups, through the downs, we're all going to have them. We're going to trip, just like when our kids learn to walk, right? They fall. Do we yell at them? Are we like, damn, I knew you were never going to learn how to walk. God, you suck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't say that to our 9-month-old trying to learn how to walk. Why do we say that to ourselves? Don't expect yourself to have it perfect or to be perfect. You are learning. Give yourself that grace to learn, to grow, to make changes, and to love yourself again, and to let this group start loving you first. But you have to show up for that. You all have anything else to say? Christy? No?
You wrapped it up so nicely.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
All right.
Like a little gift.
Like a little gift.
Ribbon.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. You guys, I can't work out, but I promise you guys have my word that I will be there every day with you guys in that group. I'll be honest with my food journal. I'm really working on detoxing my body right now and and really, really staying committed to what I put into my body. And so I'll be honest with you guys how I'm feeling if you're honest with me about how you're feeling. And I'll promise you that that group is a safe place, a judgment-free place for you to show up, to be loved, to be picked up, to be encouraged if you'll do the same. Does this sound good?
Sounds like a deal. Thanks, guys.
All right, you guys. I love you. I'll talk to you guys later.
Have a good night.
Yeah.